All right, so this is going to be another movie review. This one's called Collateral Damage 2002. I thought that was pretty decent. I forgot to put Michael Jordan's name in here. Michael. The plot was non-existent, but there was an alleged plot twist. It tried. Arnold Schwarzenegger is trying to tell us about just war theory, that you shouldn't go around shooting innocent women and children. Yeah, we watched this for the explosions, the alleged plot twist. Arnold Schwarzenegger's take on Catholic doctrine, not Catholic doctrine, but just war theory from St. Ambrose, St. Augustine. You will not harm innocent children and women. That's a far cry from Conan the Barbarian. What is best in life, Conan? To conquer the people and the lamentation of the woman, and to hear the lamentation of the woman. So, in general, there might be 2 or 3 movies after the 1980s that are above decent. I think End of Days was the best. But anyway, it was pretty good. I had to admit, it was somewhat entertaining at the end. Although the motorcycle thing was a little bit too stretched out, and the plot was silly. A bunch of Colombian terrorists, non-existent terrorists, blowing up various parts of of the United States. It's kind of like one of the last ones I saw where they just blow up everything for no apparent reason. They just want the United States out of their country, which is understandable, but they resort to terrorism, which doesn't make sense. I know Colombia is a very poor country. It's poorer than Venezuela, I think. Collateral Damage is a 2002 U.S. vigilante action thriller film directed by Andrew Davis and starring Arnold Schwarzenegger. Oh, Andrew Davis did Above the Law, Under Siege, The Fugitive. I better put his name in there. All right. Directed. I'm not too impressed by the director here. But I will agree with Karate Man that this one is slightly underrated, I guess. Can't even spell directed. I've got stomach flu. That's why it took me so long to get to my first movie review. I was kind of watching 10 minutes, then resting, then watching 10 minutes. Then I threw up all over the place. And now I'm dehydrated. I'm trying to get the Hawaiian Punch hydration going. Andrew Davis. But I'm afraid I don't have any Karate Man. Oh, by the way, this is going to be another Karate Man recommendation. He's in the chat room as we speak, talking about how much he loves Arnold and how much this movie is underrated. All right. Like I said, his 80s movies are better, I think, in general, but there are a few exceptions to that, namely this one. It stars Arnold Schwarzenegger, Elias Koteas, Francesca Neri, who's like a double agent, I guess. I don't know. Cliff Curtis, John Leguizamo, and John Turturro. Bunch of lamestream actors, and what was I going to say? Oh, it's kind of a ripoff between. It doesn't know if it wants to be Rambo or Die Hard. It's kind of a mix of both, I guess. Nothing is more dangerous than a man with nothing to lose. Okay. From the director of The Fugitive, Schwarzenegger, Collateral Damage. The film tells the story of Los Angeles firefighter Gordon Brewer, Schwarzenegger, who seeks to avenge his son's and wife's death at the hands of a guerrilla commando by traveling to Colombia and facing his family's killers. Why didn't he just start up a homeless shelter for single families? Collateral Damage was released in the United States on February 8th, 2002 to negative reviews, and it was a commercial failure. Not fair, according to Karate Man. Not fair. Production company Bel Air Entertainment, distributed by Warner Brothers Pictures. Release dates February 4th, 2002. Premiere February 8th, 2002 in the rest of the United States. Running time 109 minutes too long. United States country. Languages English and Spanish. A budget of $85 million and a box office of $78.4 million. Yeah, that's a severe, that's what's known as a severe financial flop. A bomb detonates in the plaza of the Columbia Consulate building in Los Angeles, killing 9 people, including a caravan of Colombian officials and U.S. intelligence agents. Among the civilians killed are the wife and son of an LAFD firefighter, Captain Gordon Gordy Brewer, who was injured in the explosion. A tape is sent to the U.S. State Department in which a masked man calling himself El Lobo, also known as the Wolf, claims responsibility, justifying it as retaliation for the oppression of Colombia by the United States. The FBI believes El Lobo is a Colombian terrorist named Claudio Perini. CIA officer Peter Brandt, the Colombian station chief, is harshly reprimanded for the incident by Senate Oversight Committee. Yeah, right. When does the federal government ever pull troops out of third world country in South America? Almost never happens, which promptly terminates all CIA operations in Colombia. Yeah, right. That would never happen in a million years because the deep state is too entrenched. They've got too much money at stake. They're never getting out of Colombia. This is all a farce. Brandt angrily returns to Mompos and meets with his paramilitary allies to plan a major offensive to take down Claudio. So he's a one-man army. He's going on his Rambo hunt in Colombia, frustrated at the political red tape regarding the investigation. Brewer travels to Mompos to personally hunt down Claudio, but is quickly arrested for illegal entry. The guerrillas stage a prison break to free their comrades and to abduct Brewer so that they can demand a large ransom for him. Brandt's unit is alerted to Brewer's presence in Colombia, but they arrive too late. Brewer escapes the prison, evades capture, and he secures a guerrilla zone pass from a Canadian mechanic, Sean Armstrong. Armstrong introduces him to drug runner Felix Ramirez, the manager of the cocaine distribution facility that finances the guerrillas, masquerading as a mechanic. Brewer rigs several improvised explosives, and he destroys the facility. Felix is blamed for the destruction of the drug plant, and he is executed Che Guevara style in front of hiding Brewer's eyes. Brewer infiltrates Claudio's headquarters, and he plants a bomb to kill him, but he's captured when he tries to prevent a woman, Selena, from being caught in the blast radius along with her son, Mario. Bad decision. At Claudio's home compound, Selena reveals she is Claudio's wife. Why would you trust a terrorist wife? She and Claudio once lost their own child during a U.S. attack, which compelled Claudio to become a terrorist. Selena found and adopted Mauro, whose parents were killed in the attack. Regardless, Serena eventually sympathizes with Brewer, and she admits that Claudio is planning another bombing in Washington, D.C. Why would a terrorist give away their plans to the CIA, FBI? Meanwhile, Brandt's unit locates Claudio's compound, and it launches an attack. During the ensuing shootout, Selena helps Brewer, and along with Brandt, travels back to the State Department in Washington, D.C. to help the search effort for Claudio, or at least so it seems. Selena identifies Union Station as a target, and the FBI investigates. On the pretense of using a laboratory, Selena excuses herself from the command room, and she becomes irritated when Mauro refuses to come with her. When Brewer sees Selena make the same gesture as the masked man who claimed to be El Lobo in the tape, he realizes that she was the wolf all along because they hid the voice to make it dark sounding, I guess. And Claudio serves as her figurehead, and that the entire motive behind their cause is personal revenge for the death of the daughter at the hands of the U.S. Furthermore, Brewer surmises the real target is the State Department, and that he was used to help Selena get past the building's security. Brewer quickly throws Mauro's bomb-laden toy dinosaur out a window seconds before it explodes. Okay, so this makes more sense. Basically, the briefcase in the Union Station was empty when the homeless guy opened it, and the little kid's dinosaur starts going off beeping. So it was a subterfuge by the double agent Selena. Brandt, realizing Brewer's suspicion, is shot, and he is killed by Selena while trying. She is killed by Selena while trying to stop her from fleeing the building. Brewer chases Selena to the basement of the building, where she and Claudia ride all through the tunnels on a motorcycle. Brewer finds the tunnel control console and shuts the gates, preventing their escape. Brewer uses an axe to rupture some gas lines along the wall of the tunnel, and as they ride back, Selena shoots at Brewer, unwittingly igniting the gas. Brewer jumps through a doorway just as the entire tunnel explodes. Don't ask me how anybody survived that explosion. Selena and Claudio survive the blast, however, and they attack him simultaneously. The fire completely engulfed him. It's like watching one of those Fast and Furious sequels. After a short hand-to-hand fight, Selena is electrocuted by being tossed on the ground, exposed circuitry of the control panel, and Claudio is himself killed when Brewer throws an axe into his chest before he can detonate a second bomb in the State Department. Now, I forgot to mention a great scene when Arnold Schwarzenegger is sitting there in jail and he just starts to go berserk for no apparent reason. And then he bites off the Colombian guy's ear, one of the guards. Reminded me of Mike Tyson and Evander Holyfield biting off the ear. All right. The original script for this film had the same plot line. Is there even a plot for this? But would have addressed U.S. policy in the Middle East by taking place in Libya. Now, that would have made more sense, okay? Libya, the U.S. doesn't like Libya. They murdered Gaddafi because he tried to implement gold standard or something. Director Davis and his screenwriters chose Colombia as the new location because it had not been used extensively and it touched on a current geopolitical conflict area. Wow. Okay. That's not very convincing. The film was shot in Los Angeles, New York, and Washington, D.C. The scenes that represent Colombia were shot in the town of Cotepec and Zalapa in the state of Veracruz, Mexico. So it wasn't even a shot in Colombia. I'll bet you $10. Bet you $5. Colombia is much more poor than Mexico. At least Mexico has some tourists. Filming in Mexico last 10 weeks. Mexico makes televisions. First were shot during first 8 weeks and then returned to rollover 2. The September 11th attacks affected the release and editing of the final film. The film's original trailer was scrapped because it showed a major bomb attack in the U.S. The film was originally scheduled to be released on October 5th, 2001, but it was postponed due to its terrorism theme and the attacks. Following this, Warner Brothers removed any mention of collateral damage from the website, radio station, television, and movie theaters. All trailers and posters for the film were also recalled. Eventually, it was released on February 8, 2002. The premiere was held 4 days earlier. Collateral damage was also supposed to include Colombia actress Sofia Vergara in the role of an airplane hijacker. However, the scene where Vergara would hijack an airplane was cut from the film. Warner Home Video released the film on DVD and VHS in the United States on July 30th, 2002. Collateral Damage earned a total of $15.2 million during its opening weekend. It ranked number 1 at the box office, ahead of Big Fat Liar, Rollerball, and Black Hawk Down. This was also the first Arnold Schwarzenegger film to do so since Batman and Robin in 1997. I've got to see Batman and Robin. Mr. Freeze. For its second weekend, the film dropped into 5th place, but behind John Q, Crossroads, Return to Neverland, and Big Fat Liar, making $8.7 million. In Spain, it opened in 2nd place behind Monsters, Inc. with the $1.1 million in its first weekend. The film made $78.4 million worldwide against its $85 million budget. Rotten Tomatoes rated it 19% based on reviews from 142 critics, with an average rating of 4 out of 10. Rotten Tomatoes is always very low with these Karate Man recommendations. The site's consensus reads, despite its timely subject matter, Collateral Damage is an unacceptable and formulaic action thriller. Yeah, no kidding. It rips off Rambo and the other one I mentioned that I can't think of. I'm having a brain fart due to stomach flu. A diehard, sorry. I had to look it up. I'm so brain dead from stomach flu. I just want to rest and drink Hawaiian punch all day, all night. Now it's almost nighttime. All right. The site's consensus reads, despite its timely, I already said that. Okay. Metacritic rated it 33 out of 100 based on reviews from 34 critics. Audiences polled by CinemaScore gave the film an average grade of B, which is what I'm giving it, on an A plus to F scale. So my rating of this is closer to CinemaScore, not nearly as close as Metacritic or Rotten Tomatoes. Deson Howe of the Washington Post called the film head-scratching ordinary and wrote, even by the fast and loose standards of action filmmaking, Collateral Damage is a disappointment. It's not that big of a disappointment. It does have the explosions, as Karate Man said. It's got the so-called plot twist and Arnold Schwarzenegger doing his just war theory. Claudia Puig of USA Today said, it's laughably unbelievable, yet it's hard to snicker at anything involving terrorists, even Collateral's obscure Colombian variety. Yeah, when was the last time a Colombian attacked the United States? What we get is simple Schwarzenegger, who seems to be in perpetual Terminator mode to flex his muscles. Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times awarded the film 3 out of 4 stars and described it as a skillfully made example of your typical Schwarzenegger action film. So we're actually in agreement, Karate Man, even more so with Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times, which is very unusual for this channel. I do not like Andrew Davis. He is not a good director. I agree the 80s and 90s was the best era for Arnold, especially for any other action star of that time. Stallone, Seagal, Van Damme, and Chuck Norris. Collateral Damage, well, I didn't exactly say that. I said the 80s are the Arnold movies to choose first and foremost, and then you might pick a couple of decent one from the 90s and this one. That's about it. He's not a great actor. And I misspoke in my last video. I said around the world in 100 days. I meant to say around the world in 80 days. Anyway, Collateral Damage does not deserve the unnecessary negative reviews like a lot of these action movies get rated by the snob critics. It's ridiculous the reason why it flopped at the box office just because of the September 11th event. Well, that's why they didn't do well, that's Hollywood for you. That's why they didn't do the sequel for the other movie that I just reviewed with Jamie Lee Curtis. I don't see how September 11th has anything to do with this movie. Come on, Hollywood. It's just an Arnold Schwarzenegger action movie. What do you expect? Well, they don't have box cutters coming out of Afghanistan caves, if that's what you mean. Colombia as a terrorist state? I'm not seeing that, but I could be wrong. Collateral Damage, 2002, rated R, 1 hour 49 minutes. It gets a pretty decent 5.5 out of 10 on IMDb. 79,000 ratings, though. So it's not super lamestream like the other ones that Karate Man recommended from the 90s. More like this, The 6 Day Eraser, End of Days, and Raw Deal. The movie was supposed to include the famous Colombian actress Sofia Vergara, who played an airline hijacker. But after the September 11, 2001 terrorist attack, the scene where Vergara would hijack a plane was scratched from the movie. Moreover, scenes which might be considered unpatriotic have been excluded. That's the question that I have for Father Charlie. What do they mean by patriotic? And is it a Catholic virtue to be patriotic? Those are my two questions. All right. The Colombian soccer match is between U.S. and Chivas, two popular. Oh, I'm sorry. It's between America and Chivas, two popular Mexican teams. Claudio the Wolf Perini says, "When are you going to kill me?" Gordon Brewer says, "Now." And then he throws an axe into his chest. Featured in HBO First Look, The Making of Collateral Damage, 2002. Syndrome de Calm, Bing Bang Long, written performed by DJ La Maica, courtesy of Warner Music Brazil Limited, by arrangements with Warner Special Projects. Lord One gives it a lower rating, a 6 out of 10. I was thinking of giving it that, but it's just got too many cool things going on. Ending is kind of weak, but whatever. It's a pretty decent action movie, like Karate Man said. 6 out of 10. Not a Dull Moment is the title of the review on IMDb. This action is about a fireman, Schwarzenegger, who loses his family to a terrorist bomb in LA and then goes after the terrorists when the authorities do nothing. It's okay. The pace is fast and the effects plentiful. There are a few logical problems, like why is it the fireman among thousands of security personnel in DC that is the only one going after the killer when the latter is trying to turn DC into an inferno? That's a good question. You would expect the United States to shoot first and ask questions later. But then Arnold couldn't have become Rambo in this one. Lots of good actors, nice cinematography and special effects. In short, better than average, but the misses are sometimes bad, like not getting Colombia's map correct. That he can travel on somebody else's pass is also amazing, but it's fairly logical in its own context, so you don't mind the misses the first time you see it. Not bad for a hero over 50. And that's it. Well, thank you for the recommendation, Karate Man. I don't think I can get to anything else today. I only did one review due to stomach flu issues this morning. I woke up at 3:30. I got ready. I did a little pit stop at Safeway, and then I didn't feel like eating lunch. My stomach was full. So, like a dummy, I pigged out on on the cherry cola float with ice cream. Then about 3 hours later, I threw up everywhere. It was. I think I threw up my ice cream float snack and my breakfast. So I'm a little dehydrated. I'm going to guzzle down the Hawaiian Punch in a minute, take another nappy poo. Going down my list, we've got A Farewell to Arms, 1932, The Day the Earth Stood Still, 1951, and Showdown in Little Tokyo, 1991. Another Karate Man recommendation. So hopefully I can get to those next week. And thanks for checking out my channel. Laters.